Yes.
Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to the final pre-season game of Manchester United against Bayern Munich. This is Mad Marcus. As we know, Mark is out in Spain at the minute on vacation. So I will be your host for tonight, and I'm joined by Jared.
How we doing, Marcus?
Very well, thank you. How's the American weather?
Hot and disgusting.
So, team lineup. Sorry about the delay. We had a slight technical hitch, but team lineups are out, and Jared will present the team lineups for us, which are.
All right. So for Bayern, we have Neuer in goal. You have Sule, Hummels, Thiago, Ribery, Martinez, Robin, Gnabry, Muller, Alaba, and Kimmich is starting.
Okay,
so pretty
sounds
very
strong.
Yeah, from them. To get to United, we have De Gea, Darmian, Bailly, Lindelof, Shaw, Herrera, Fred, Pereira, Mata, Rashford, and Alexis. So,
that's, I mean, formation-wise, what are we looking at? Possibly a back four?
I think so.
I would probably say Herrera and Pereira as the midfield two.
Zb, Garner, McTominay, Chong, and Greenwood.
Right, again, interesting selection there. No Lukaku, even though he is back, I think. Him, Rashford, and Lindelof are supposed to be back and ready with the squad. So, interesting. What are you guys' thoughts in the comments? Are you quite happy with that? I mean, the formation, some people saying 4-3-3. So, looks like a 4-3-3. I'm not too sure. I'm leaning towards a 4-2-3-1. Jared, would you say 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
Yes.
Yeah, 4-3-3.
I think 4-3-3, but I think it could turn into a 4-2-3-1. I think Alexis will play forward, obviously, and I think the team is probably set up to get the most out of him for today, even if it's not how I think the team will line up in the future.
Interesting selection again due to the captaincy. Alexis, captain again. Obviously, Mourinho has said in his comments during the pre-season tour that Eric Bailly is a nice guy and runs through brick walls for him on this tour. He didn't want to leave the kids against the Liverpool game to get absolutely hammered. So fair play to him for stepping up. Chris Smalling today, obviously Matic, Valencia and Dalot are out of this game completely. Not sure if they'll be ready for the start of the Premier League season. But interesting, the Bayern have put a strong squad out there. I mean, Bayern, they were in the ICC as well in the pre-season. They won 1 and lost 2. So Niko Kovac, who's the new Bayern coach, looking to put his stamp on the team, Jared, and I think he has with this lineup he's put out.
I agree, and I think he's going to be an exciting coach. He used to be the coach of Croatia. Perisic is a big fan of him, as he has actually stated recently. I think he's going to be exciting for Bayern. I think Bayern are going to have a really good season too. They've always have a good season, and the fact that he has picked Pereira since day one of this tour, he's his guy. I really think he's going to start a substantial amount of games for this team. And I think when and if we move to a different type of formation in the future, when maybe an Alderweireld or a Maguire come in, I think that Pereira will excel in something like a 3-5-2. Excel, do.
Which is interesting because that would save a lot of money in the long run. I mean, a couple of midfielders have been linked to United in the transfer window. Perisic being the main one again. So I mean, do you think you would be able to fill that gap there that's out on the right hand side, or do you think Mourinho sees him primarily as the CDM role?
I think him and Matic could make a nice interchangeable pair. I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem. I think he'll be a humongous asset to the team. I think people are stressed because Willian's old, but they shouldn't be. And he's a superstar.
Okay.
So,
Right. Okay. So, I mean, in terms of going forward, though, Jared, I mean, expectations with this team for the season. I mean, a lot of people are saying Jose in. You know, a lot of people are saying Jose out. He should be given the 3 years, the 3 seasons to stick his, put his mark on this team and see how far he can get. But there's always that pressure behind him of from the fans about his signings not being fantastically overwhelming. But he wants those people that will come in and just do the job for him now. So I mean, is that the right way to go? Do you think?
I don't know if it's the right way to go, but I think it is the way that he's going to go, if that makes sense. So I think we got to back the manager, and if it doesn't start right, it's not going to end right.
Okay, so let's take some comments here. So Sam, the chair is back, just for one time only. Let's have a look. Kickoff is in 30 minutes. Yep. So 7:15 KO is here. Is for the kickoff. Lucas says a bad connection at the moment. Let's have a look.
We'll look at some more comments while that's going on. Okay, if we replace him with someone who could make the team better and actually put a title run together, is it worth it? Like, or are you just thinking that we should wait Jose out and keep him here?
Howdy doody.
And there's Rodney. Welcome, Rodney. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. We're just talking about the team news there, Rodney.
Okay. I've literally just walked in about 4 minutes ago, so I've not even been able to look at the team news.
Okay, so team news is...
News is news.
De Gea in goal.
Sorry, say again?
De Gea's in goal.
Yeah.
Darmian, Bay, Lindelof, Shaw.
Okay.
Herrera, Fred, Pereira, Mata, and Rashford and Alexis.
Okay.
So
that sounds promising.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, mate? Let us know.
I would. Well, I mean, we talked yesterday briefly about the possibilities of the Bayern team, but I think Jose's put down the marker. I think he realizes he needs a striker.
Yeah.
Playing Rashford, and I know that he's not been back too long in terms of training, but he's put him up there because he needs a focal point as a number 9. Sanchez has run his socks off in pre-season in the games that I've seen, and he needs assistance. And I think that the team behind him with Pereira and Fred and Herrera, I think we'll see a really quick game. I think they'll try and take advantage of Bayern's defence in terms of their weaknesses, speed being their weakness or lack of it.
Okay, so Jared had the Bayern team.
Yeah.
Jared, have you still got that there with you?
I do.
Yeah. Do you want to just let Rodney know what the Bayern team is?
All right. So we have Neuer in goal. You have Sule, Hummels, Thiago, Ribery, Martinez, Robin, Gnabry, and then Muller, Alaba on the left, and Kimmich on the right. So very strong team.
Very strong team. Very strong team. They mean to put a marker down as well. So this will be an interesting game. And I know that we had a little pre-conversation yesterday at the possibility of this game being a non-event. I don't think it will be, unless both players take it as a testimonial. Yeah, there is a possibility that might happen, but that is a very strong Bayern team. That's a very strong Bayern team.
I agree.
Wow, and always first choice, no matter who the manager has been in Bayern's history. In the time that I've kind of paid a lot of attention, Ribery and Robin are still there.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah, go on,
because Robin gives you that theory of like age can be a number if the person is fit, if the person keeps good health. Robin for 33, 34, and he's still at a top level. So you sit there and you wonder, we always knock Jose for going after people who are 29.
Exactly.
But if I got 5 years out of Willian and he was at the top level till 33, 34, well then is that really a negative? We've gotten the best out of him anyway.
No, when you look at those two players as an example, Willian and Robin, or even Ribery, they don't carry excess body weight. So when you get to that stage in your career, you're not having to do extra work to lose it and then put in a little bit more to maintain where everyone else is. If you're naturally that way anyway, and you're a professional in every sense of the word, and you have a good diet and you train well and you rest well, then obviously you're going to have a longer career. Those two players, Robbie and Ruben, they're prime examples of professional footballers who have taken care of their body. It's not to say that they don't go out and have a party, but they've taken care. And you know, we could mention a certain person who is probably 10 years their junior, who hasn't done that. And you know, you can see why some people say he's on his way out, whereas you look at those two individuals, and regardless of the youth behind them, they're still first choice.
So, okay, that's very interesting, Rodney, from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very insightful as well.
That's all right. Let me grab my glasses, because I'm looking at the chat and I'm thinking, I cannot see a word.
No, that's
fine. That's fine. So, just wanted to give people a recap. So, obviously, Mark is out in vacation in Spain at the minute. And
is he?
Yeah, in case anyone didn't know. Obviously, the United Stand is the #1 fan channel on YouTube. I think, bar none. It's got a fantastic community, and everyone involved with the United Stand is dedicated to bringing the watch-alongs, no matter what, no matter where we are, no matter who's out on vacation anywhere. So, hence why I'm doing the show tonight with Jared and Rodney. Mark's out there enjoying sunny Spain. And Flex as well. I mean, if anyone's in the comments actually outside of the Allianz Arena, Flex is doing the fan cams straight after the game as usual, which is absolutely phenomenal and dedicated to the cause. So if you're out there in Germany, make sure to try and get hold of Flex if you can, and get on the fan cams. So everyone, drop a like and share the video, subscribe. Kwame says Mark was trying to butt me up, and I'll take it. Says Kwame. No worries, mate. No worries.
Someone says that I don't. Someone says I'm crap at this. I couldn't see who it was. It went past. I was laughing. I thought I should have said yes, I am. But
so we got 20 minutes until kickoff. So I think the big talking points of so far these last couple of days of the transfer window is Harry Maguire and Toby.
Do we have to? Do we have to really?
Yes. So Harry Maguire apparently has been touted by Leicester to have a 80 million price tag, which is obviously 5 million more than Van Dijk, whereas Tottenham are asking for around 60 million for Alderweireld. Now, me personally, I would take Maguire all day long, purely because of the age difference. I think there's more to work with there, but I also don't think Jose would go for him, because maybe Jose's got to put too much work for him. So I can see the appeal with Alderweireld, more experience, a leader, a vocal. He's got a voice on him as well. He's not afraid to shout at people when they're doing wrong and motivate people. So what about you two guys? Which one for you?
Easy. I would go with Alderweireld only because he is 100% ready to lead the lineup I think we're going to have. I don't think we're going to go 4-3-3. So I think if you go in a different formation, I really do believe that Alderweireld is a must. I think that Maguire is also massively overpriced, and we cannot pay £80 million for him. That would be an atrocious situation. I feel like it gets cancerous, and then at that point you look at the reason why people charge Man United what they do. I mean, I don't know that Van Dijk is better than Maguire, but he was more sought after than Maguire was. I don't hear anyone else going after this guy. So to me, it's like if you leave him there for another year and you got Alderweireld, I think you're in a stronger position, and I think his price is cut in half, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know if you leave Maguire there for another year, his price tag goes down. I don't see that. I think
it goes up.
Yeah, I think it goes up.
I think get a $100 million transfer for a defender.
I think his stock is on the rise. And it's nothing to do with his club form. It's everything to do with his international form. And I believe his position in the England team is solid. There isn't a centre-back in the English game that will challenge his position. It's there, it's nailed on. And Leicester, knowing this, will put the price up. If he wasn't a number one choice for the England manager, his price wouldn't be 80 million. His price would, Man United would be able to put in a bid of 60 million and get him. Maybe 55. It wouldn't, but they know that they've got an England international on their hands, so that they can do that. I understand the whole idea about working with youth, but we just also had a conversation about age and talked about Robin and Ribéry to take care of himself. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. It's about, will Manchester United be messed around by either club? Spurs always do. Whenever Man United try and buy a player from them, the price is, there's an extra 20, 25 million. They still haven't forgiven Manchester United for Berbatov or Teddy Sheringham. You know, as far as they were concerned, they sold those players too cheaply. And Leicester, being Leicester, not to, you know, say that they're a little club, but they will see that they've made a real huge amount of money on a player that was relatively not even looked at as a dependable defender. Now that he's got kind of like idol status as an England player, not even so much as a Leicester player. So being linked to Manchester United for him is probably the best thing that he would hear. I'd be greedy. I'd like both of them.
Yeah,
that
I'm like, you know, I think Manchester United would be, you know, you want to splash cash? We can splash cash. We'll, you know, to do one day buy Alderweireld and the next day to say, right, we'll snap you up as well. Because what you don't want is for them, for Leicester to say 80 million to Manchester United. Manchester United go and buy Alderweireld and then they sell Maguire for 50 million to Spurs. And you'd be like, well, why the increase in value for us? It's either that's his value or it isn't his value.
Well, Leicester would have less bargaining chips because they don't have to sell Maguire. To your point, it's not like he's going to losing anything. Leicester also don't need to sell. Their owner has more money than all of us. So it's like he flies in and out of the stadium. And that shockingly does not sell their stars. When they won the title, Vardy was supposed to go to Arsenal. They wanted too much money. Mahrez, they kept hold of him for a year and a half and still got £70 million for him. And I just don't think they need to sell Maguire. So to your point, the fact they don't need to sell him, they wouldn't sell him for cheaper than 80 million. So it's kind of like if we want him, we'll have to pay that number anyway.
Yeah.
Now the problem I see with when Rodney says he wants to be greedy and get both centre backs, I don't think that's going to happen, purely and simply because when you've got Smalling, Jones and Rojo, someone's got to go.
More than one person would have to go for those two to come in.
So I mean, obviously, you know, I think people would probably think, okay, Jones and Rojo out the door. I mean, Smalling's linked with Wolves, was it?
Apparently linked with Wolves.
Rojo linked with Everton.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think if one or two go, then yeah, I'd totally agree, Rodney. Be greedy and bring the two in.
Yeah, why not?
I think if at the minute, as we stand at the minute with what is in the current squad, I think one is the only likely way we're going to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Willian, there was also reports this morning that United are preparing a last-ditch bid for Willian as well.
I don't actually think it will probably be last-ditch.
Right.
Making my way back home to do this, listening to the post-match commentary on the Charity Shield, they said that Willian's body language didn't really look too good for Chelsea. So he looks like he doesn't want to be there. So I'm not.
Yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't even say last minute. I think Chelsea have got issues. They've got real problems, as they would say. Between now and Thursday.
I was going to say, I think the Willian deal is very dependent on the formation. If we go through the season with the 3-5-2, we can get away with not having the right midfielder, because obviously Valencia and whoever the left back is going to be, left wing back, is going to be up and down those flanks like a yo-yo throughout the season. And then you come into the three central midfielders. So if we don't get Willian, I can see the 3-5-2 being used quite dominantly throughout the season. If Willian comes in, then I think it's looking like the 4-3-3. So I think a lot hinges on that transfer, whether we can get it over the line if he comes in. And again, me personally, I'm against it. I've got to say, the money that's being touted around 60 million plus, 30 years of age.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying makes total sense. But then you go back to the Maguire one and say 80 million, and the difference between the two, 20 million in valuation, and the years that you'll get from either player is considerable, especially for Maguire. So is 80 million too much money for Maguire, and is 60 million not enough money for Willian? Because with his age, everyone will say he's too old, but you'd probably get 2 or 3 or 4 years out of him.
Yeah, but we all know as midfielders, as they get older, the legs go, don't they? The pace goes. So I think as a right midfielder for Willian, he's only going to last maybe 2 seasons at most.
2 seasons.
Yeah. Whereas Maguire, for me, as a centre back, age doesn't really matter, depending on how deep you're playing. So I think Toby, if Mourinho was in charge for another 3-4 seasons, I would say get Toby. But I don't think he's going to be in charge for another 3-4 seasons. Hence why I'm leaning towards Maguire, because I think the next manager that comes in, you've got plenty to work with there. You've got the growth. He's going to be hitting his peak while he's at United. So yeah, I mean that's the falls and against for me. Jared, what do you think about him?
I think that if you look at the situation that we're currently in, I think there's certain players we have to bring in and certain players we want to bring in. I think we have to bring in either Alderweireld or Maguire, and at this point I'm actually okay with either. I think there's positives and negatives to both, but nobody can say that either would be a bad signing. I'm actually starting to think that the need is also getting Perisic. I know he's said that he's willing to stay at Inter, but then he comes up today and he's like, I admire Kovac. I used to play with him. He also said he wants to play in the Premier League eventually. I think that Mourinho, you brought it up. I think that you look at this 3-5-2 setup.
Yep.
I think that's where we're heading this year. And I think that when you look at that, I think a guy like Perisic who can play on both wings, who's interchangeable, who's ready to go. And I think that in the end, no matter what we do, it is going to involve Martial leaving to bring that player in. And the more and more this goes on, the more and more the club wear us down. They're winning, because I'm starting to be okay with it too. Okay. Like, I think he's poison now to the team. I think he's not going to help anyone by being there, because we as the fan base will not talk about the fact that Pereira looks amazing for the tour, the fact that Rashford was just given the number 10 shirt, which is unbelievable. We're going to talk about the fact that he looks miserable when he plays as well. So this guy who we all love, who we want to succeed at this club, is dragging down people who are actually coming into their own, like a Lingard. And those are the ones we should be talking about, because in the end, we are building something. Maybe we're just all not realizing it.
Yeah. Okay. We've had a contribution here from Danny Dobson. Thank you. It says, loving these discussions. I hope so. Us three will do our best today to fill in for Mark. I know there's a couple of buffering issues on the show tonight.
But I've seen that as well. But
yeah, unfortunately, we can't help the state of the English broadband, shall we say.
I know how that one works.
To be polite. But, we're doing our best. Obviously, Mark's, as I've said before, Mark's out on vacation. Adamant that a watch-along has to go ahead for you guys, for the fans, for the community. So we will try and do our best and keep you lot involved and keep you up to date as much as we can. So Jay Hart says getting another centre back means United are settling for a draw in every game.
Why?
Why is that, Hart? Tell us.
I don't agree with that one.
No.
Yeah, put it in the comments, because we'll keep an eye out. Like, if you have a comment and you want to say, like, I don't believe a center back is necessary because it makes us play more defensive and thus we're grinding out results, is that what you think, or is there a reason that, like, you don't think we need a forward, or is there a reason you want to keep? But just put it in the comments. We'll make sure to read it.
I mean, this show, I mean, I'm going to try and do things a little bit differently to how Mark does it. I want to focus a lot on the comments. You know, it's a community channel. It's a fan base channel. I want the community and the fans involved as much as I can. And Amanda Rake has just made a contribution. Thank you.
Yeah.
Says the chair makes a lot of good points. It does. It talks more sense than us.
That chair has not stopped talking.
It does, yeah. And the thing is, the chair, it's got like 3 personalities to it, 3 different voices. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Just when you think you figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we got kickoff in just under 10 minutes time. For those who are joining late, Jared, do you want to read out the teams again?
Sure. Yeah. So Bayern's team is going to be Neuer in goal, Sule, Hummels, Thiago, Ribéry, Martinez, Robin, Gnabry, Muller, and then Alaba and Kimmich as left back, right back. If you want to hear their bench also, which is as strong as their team is, they have Lewandowski, Rafinha, Bernat. They have Boateng, who's obviously a potential target for us if we want to go to the old age home to get him. They have Goretzka, Rudy, Ulrich, Koeman, who's incredible, Mai, and then they have a couple youth players who none of us have heard of. Zyla, Francisca, and Huffman. So we're never going to see those people, but they are on the bench for Bayern. And then for United, we are building. Andrew Ellis, you know, I always respect what you say, but we're fine. But if we're building an old team that wins a title, are you okay with it? I know you hate Mourinho, but just throwing that out there.
Oh, like no. Let's not start that. It's too soon. Let's wait until the game to begin.
At least wait till half time.
No. It's not even
5 minutes.
Like you just said, we're building an old team, not an exciting team. And I think that's an interesting comment because, like, you know, you could look at that one of 2 ways. You could look at it that we're actually just building a team Mourinho needs to win.
So do you know what? I mean, George Kyle just said a good point here. Where is Arturo Vidal?
Oh.
Right? So let's have a quick chat about Vidal then. Obviously gone.
He's gone.
13 million, was it? 32?
32, I think.
32 million. Over the age of 30.
31.
Quite a substantial amount of injuries, I think.
Yeah.
But is he the sort of player that United need? That is the question. I know Mark talks a lot again about the short-termism. I think for here and now, he could possibly be, but I think if Mourinho sees Pereira as a centre defensive midfielder, then I'm glad we didn't get him, because I think he would have stunted his growth through the team.
I think Vidal is a totally different, to use the word beast, to Pereira. He's a seasoned warrior. He's had many injuries in the last probably say 18 months, but he's been a bit part player for Bayern. So if Bayern can move him on for a considerable fee, then they must have a very, very good replacement. A very good replacement. Is he the ideal person for Manchester United? Maybe 4 years ago. But not now. I mean, he's gone to Barcelona. I mean, let's face it, it's a 2-team league, maybe 3 teams at best. He's not going to have the physical battles that he would probably have if he was in the Premier League. And you've got to play City 1 week, United 1 week, Arsenal 1 week, Tottenham, Chelsea. Do you know he's gone where he can go right now.
Yeah,
he's gone where he can go.
The other thing, right, is like a team like Barcelona, he could be a nice linchpin and give a nice little like intensity to that team when they play a Madrid or something. And he hates Madrid. He's always said that. So it's interesting. Like he fits what they want in the mentality, and he's not too expensive to sign. So I like the signing for them. I just agree with what you said that he may not be up to the task week by week. I just want to read out the United lineup because I missed that one.
A couple of people lost. Yeah.
Yep. De Gea in goal. Darmian again, as he's all of our favorite players. Bailly and Lindelof actually for the first time ever are paired. Shaw on the left. Herrera, Fred, Pereira, Mata, Rashford, and Alexis. On the bench, Lee Grant, Fosu Mensah, Phil Jones, Mitchell, Smalling, Twanzebe, Garner, McTominay, Chong, and Greenwood. So that's our team.
Okay, so I mean, again, just go back to the point. Pretty attacking lineup. from United's point of view, very strong first team lineup. I mean, how many of these players do you actually think are going to be involved with the first team? I mean, you know, we all know the situation with Martial. Martial's obviously not travelled out there. He stayed behind him, Carrington, to carry on his training. Lukaku's not there. I mean, is it looking likely that Martial's looking at the exit door now?
I mean, it's. I think he's been looking at the exit door for quite some time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a new thing. I think the hope that many people had for him to be constantly included in Jose's plans and the excuses we provided him, you know, with players coming in and him losing his form and his confidence, it's part and parcel of football. That's part and parcel of life. You've got to adjust. He doesn't have the fight to be a first team player at Manchester United. He doesn't want to fight, and if he wants to go, you know, just say thank you very much, it's been nice, and wish him all the best.
Right, I've just found out why it was buffering at the start of the show. It's because of Windows 10, automatic updates are on. That is why. So apologies, it's totally my fault.
Yeah.
If it does it again, blame Microsoft. Okay, don't blame me. Blame Microsoft. Okay, but the players are coming out.
Always blame Microsoft. I agree with that.
Yeah. So just getting a shot there of Ribery and that Neuer as the number one. So I mean, United. I mean, you know, a picture speaks 1,000 words there, and you know, a couple of faces. Eric Bailly looks very focused. Darmian as well, looking very focused. No, Samuel, no, it was a problem on my end. So yeah, so sorry, apologies about that. Like I say, but automatic updates are now off. Hopefully.
Right, and now you still see the chair. So
yeah,
blurry or not, it's still a chair.
Yes. The chair is still talking.
I got a question for you, Marcus, and Rodney, and the live comments. So you look at the position we're in. Position Liverpool have put themselves in, the teams around us. Where is the finish this year with Jose? And then where is the finish if, God forbid, we sack him by Christmas?
Robbie, you can go first with this one.
Well, I actually am a Jose in, regardless of his demeanour and his sour grapes comments. I believe that he does most of that for the media. I don't think he's like that with the players. Where the team will finish, I hope in my heart that United finish top of the league and win. If Manchester United don't have a good start and the board decide to get rid of him, then we're looking at a collapse in the proportions of Spain during the recent World Cup, because there isn't a standout candidate to take over Manchester United right now. And people will come out with Pep and Klopp and Pochettino, all of those. You're not getting those. You're not getting them. Pep won't leave City. Klopp won't leave Liverpool. Pochettino, you'll have to pay. If you think you're paying money for a player, Levy will rub his hands from now to eternity if Manchester United turned up and said, "Can we take your manager?"
Oh, yeah.
Bleed them dry.
Your $50 million.
Oh, bleed! No, he would bleed them. They'd have to pay a mortgage to get him, not just a one-off fee. So you're looking at someone outside of the Premier League, and then you're going into people will start talking about Simeone. You know, the list is endless. So for me, if it's not going well, then Man United need to see it out with Jose. Then look at another alternative. But it's either you stick with him to the end of the season, or you get rid of him. And the time to get rid of him is gone.
Yep.
It's gone.
I don't think I can add anything to what Rodney's just said there, to be honest. It took the words straight out of my mouth. I mean,
I actually saw the words written down, Marcus.
Did you?
So
all right, so you're reciting it then, was it?
Just reciting it, yeah.
So I just want to take this opportunity as well to give a shout out to all the mods that are in there. So we got Beck in there, we got George, Jared, Andrew. I think I've seen Brevi and Matthew. So thanks for tuning in and keeping the comments clean. Whereas Mark says taboo. Mark is in Spain.
Mark is actually having fruit served to him on a beach.
Yeah,
Again.
Pineapple.
Again.
You again?
Yes.
Right, so we are just about to kick off, I think. So for anyone who's asking where the game is, in the UK and Ireland, it's on MUTV. And Jared, I'm not sure, in America?
We didn't get it.
You didn't get it. Okay.
Right. So if anyone was watching it, it would not be. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay,
Yeah,
right,
we can
we'll
imagine.
do that.
You can imagine.
You
But I-
got teletext.
You know, we were just making the comment about Mourinho, and it's interesting, right? He did just give Rashford the 10 shirt, if I'm not
Whoa.
mistaken.
No faith. He's got no faith in young players, that man. Absolutely.
Right. So you look at it, and it's like, I ask again, if he has put the number 10 shirt on a guy like Rashford, and by the way, he played him quite a bit last season, maybe it's just he doesn't see the same thing we see in Martial, and maybe we're wrong. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we see a flair player that is exciting, that we want to do more, and maybe Rashford could be a world beater, and maybe Martial, Jose doesn't see it, and maybe he's right. Maybe. Just playing the fence.
Yeah, I could actually say maybe he's right about Fellaini, but that'll just cause a lot of abuse on the chat.
Could be, Rodney. You never know. You don't want to start a war of words now.
Well, no. But if we were talking about formation, right? If you play 3-5-2, and look,
Yeah.
again, it's Fellaini. We're all on the same page about Fellaini.
Yeah.
But if you play Fellaini as one of those two forwards as a substitute for 30 minutes a game when we have to go long ball to break down some of those teams, I don't know that there is a better option for that specific purpose. Everything else everyone says about Fellaini related to starting, slow play, bad midfielder, wrong position is correct. But in that role, when he played for Belgium, when they came back in that game against Japan, it was because of Fellaini. It was because he was there as the target man. So again,
Turn that off.
so again, I think it's an interesting point that maybe if Fellaini is used,
2.5 minutes. United have hardly haven't had a touch of the ball, so you're not missing nothing at the moment.
no. And again, we're hoping it's a quick game. Like Rodney said, we were hoping for some pace in it. But who knows? It could just be something where they're getting the legs up going the first half, and then second half they start up. But I think we're going to have an exciting game on our hands.
Yeah, you think so? I hope.
I think so.
I think for the last pre-season game, I think the fans, we are entitled to see some good style of football, and hopefully we end the pre-season on a high to take into Friday's game against Leicester.
Yeah. Well, that's a game. I mean, this is obviously like the warm-up to that game, and you really want a good performance so that players are confident for the first game of the season, which I'm definitely going to be at.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting game to see.
At the minute, again, it's still Bayern with the ball on the halfway line, coming across into United's half. I mean, this is a big thing as well. Bayern, do they still have James Rodriguez?
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still there. Is he on the bench at all, Jared? Do you know?
No, not for this game.
No.
I mean, he will. I think he's on a holiday for some reason. I don't know why, but
He's on holiday. He's probably trapped in the Real Madrid changing room asking
I don't know.
for his socks and
Yeah,
shoes. They're probably. I mean, that had nothing to do with this game, but that transfer from Ronaldo's sent shockwaves through that club. They're going to need to find someone to replace him, or players to replace him. So I'm quite surprised that Rodriguez isn't part of this Bayern team, considering the amount of time he would have had off. But then he did have an injury during the World Cup as well, so maybe he's still injured.
You also got to remember that the Bundesliga, I think, starts the 23rd of August.
Yeah.
So they are not even in the mode that we are in. So they have 3 weeks before it starts up, whereas we have 4 days or 5 days. So
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different. We need our complete team here. They don't. So if Rodriguez comes back in a week, he still has 2 weeks to train before the season even starts.
So, there was a comment here from Sadek saying, why is Darmian playing? Simply because Valencia is injured.
Yeah, still.
What time are you on? So at the minute, we are on 5 minutes 20. Herrera's just put a cross in the box. Miscontrol by Fred on the edge of the area, and Bayern come away. Long ball up there to their centre forward, who I have no clue who it is, number 24. And Bay gets it away. So, Johnny White says he thinks the fans are reading too much into Rashford's number change. I think so as well. I agree with Johnny. I think a number change is nothing. Until the actual numbers come out at the start of the season, then
Sure, I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
But again, I do think if he does put the 10 on Rashford for a person his age, the guy like a person like Mourinho, I mean, that means something. May not mean as much as people are making of it, but it means something. It means he sees something in it.
Yeah, as a first teamer, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't give him the number 10 shirt and bench him every game, right? So that at least means he'll be starting some games, playing others, coming off the bench, being involved for the season, not needing to go on loan like these mental patients from the press are saying.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I did say that he should go on loan, because I don't know how many times he's going to get an opportunity, such as today, where he's asked to be as a single central striker. Because I think in this team, in this formation, he's going to have to be disciplined and stay close to the 18-yard box, or in the position where those who are playing wide can find him. But yeah, if he gets game time in that position, then all good. But if he doesn't and he's on the bench, should Lukaku ever get injured?
You never know, do you, Rodney? Never know.
Yeah, I know. You just never know. And I don't think he's had enough minutes as a number 9 or as a main striker where you kind of you learn your trade.
Yeah. Arjit has put a good comment in here, which some people will like. He's put, watching a dog taking a dump is more exciting than watching Jose's team play. Some people would agree with that. I
don't know. I've never watched a dog.
It's amazing what some people do in their spare time.
To compare it would be to have first-hand knowledge of the second thing. So I can only talk about the football.
Okay, Ikam, please read. I think Martial's getting overrated because it's in comparison to the bad football United play. Thoughts? Yeah, wow. I'd go along with that to some extent. I think I think the majority of that is down to Jose not playing him in his preferred position and not giving him a good run of games. So if the manager hasn't got confidence in you, I mean, and he's not going to play you, what can you do? You're trying your best in training, so it's down to the manager to pick you at the end of the day. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think it's down to you. Take it, Rodney. First.
No. Go ahead. Go on.
Oh, well, I think it's down to the fact that, there's something we don't get to see training. We don't get videos of training. We don't get to see what Jose doesn't see in him. It's on the manager and the player to come to terms on how they can be successful together. It is a team effort. You cannot have a player bigger than any manager, no matter if you hate the manager or not. Nobody is bigger than the manager. And I'm not saying that means sell the person. I'm just saying, like, the manager, if he has to deal with players' egos that are Ronaldo, that is absolutely correct. That player is worth dealing with the ego. But this is not Ronaldo. And in the end, a player like this cannot go out and say what he said through his agent and do what he's done and create tensions within a squad that's already kind of having some and be expected to be on the best terms with the manager. Doesn't work.
I mean, that I agree with. I would also add that it's all about the word that footballers or football managers like to use is discipline, and we saw that from Pereira. I'll use him as an example, where someone who is an out-and-out attacking midfielder, but the manager's taken him out of his comfort zone and said, I want to see how you perform as a holding midfielder. What are you going to do? How are you going to grow within the games that I've given you the opportunity to play? And Pereira has done that. And I think with Martial, everyone knows what his preferred position is, but should he be asked to play out wide on the right and he doesn't have a good 10 or 15 minutes, then he looks unhappy. Whereas some players will actually think, you know what, I've got a job to do and I'll get on with it. As much as we dislike or find it difficult to comprehend with Fellaini, he's the kind of player that Jose will say, I want you to play in this position, and he does exactly what the manager asks him to do. We may not like the fact that he's on the team or the position that he's in, whether it's a holding midfield position or an attacking midfield, but he follows the manager's instructions. And I think with Jose, sometimes he gets frustrated with Martial because he can see the talent. He can see it, but it's not consistent. And then when he's moved, it's not even consistent, it's just not there. That's the problem that he has with him.
Right. You don't want to see someone miserable when they're missing a shot. It brings the whole team down. And he has these moments where he has perfect chances to score, a perfect chance to make the right play, and he makes a mistake, and that's okay. But then he puts his head down and he looks miserable for the next 20 minutes, and it just feeds into the team. It feeds into the fans, and it feeds into the narrative that the press want. And you know what? It's not worth it. It's not. You have to earn 90 minutes. You may have had 90 minutes every game under Van Gaal. This isn't Van Gaal. So either fix it or don't. But Mourinho's the manager. You're not.
United got a great spell of possession here. Actually, who was it? Rashford down the right-hand side. He put a great ball across the box, but no one was there. Absolutely no one was there. Alexis, same old.
Which is what I was saying to you, Marcus, about he needs to be the number 9, not the winger.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You say you expect someone else to put the ball in. A number 9 is not going to be out wide. Yeah. A number 9 is going to say, I want someone else out wide. Ronaldo's not going to cross the ball to himself. He needs someone to cross the ball to him. That's what he needs to learn. It's okay being extremely quick and running fast and having all of those attributes. As a goal scorer, you need to be close to the goal to score goals.
So we're on 12 minutes, just gone past the 12-minute mark at the minute, and Bayern are seeing plenty of the ball down.
As they would have.
Yep, I mean, it's all a possession game, isn't they? I mean, the new guy, Kovac, is it? Or Kovac, however you pronounce it. I mean, he wants to put his stamp on this Bayern team, wants to make it his own. But United now looks like they're going to play very, very quick counter-attacking football and get that ball out to Sanchez as quick as they can and try and utilise Rashford's pace down the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So let's have a look in the comments.
It's comical that, like, I have a bunch of people who I'm reading are saying Jared's a Jose fanboy, and most people know that my honest opinion.
I'm laughing because I thought that would have been me, but I'm glad you heard you.
You can't be a fanboy just by backing someone up in logic. Like, this is logical football statements. It doesn't make sense to say just because you support the manager and one or two things he's doing, you're not a fanboy of him. You just want the team to be successful. How can they be most successful in the coming year? I don't think it's by throwing Jose out and keeping Martial right now. So we don't need to sell him. But, you know, for the people who say Martial needs to be involved every game or Jose needs to go, that's an unreasonable statement to make in certain situations. Just saying.
Yeah, most definitely.
I can see in the comments some people aren't happy with where the game's not been shown.
So we've got a super chat here from George. It says, I hope United win this guffin match, and hi Marcus. Thanks George for the comment.
George, is that your real surname? Lord, Mr. Lord. Is it? That's a great surname.
Says Durrani. Alan Herbert says, can you talk about what's happening in the game? So, Rodney, you got the game on, so what's your thoughts so far the first 14 minutes?
I would say definitely I mean, United have tried to gain a foothold in the game, but it has been Bayern. That's what they do. They are seasoned as the players that we know in keeping possession, and they have a very strong format. Bayern Munich as a team play a particular way, regardless of the personnel who come in. Doesn't matter whether they're from Italy or Spain or France. They have a way of playing, and it is ingrained into the players. They go for it systematically. Even when Pep was there, people may have said that he tried to change things there. Bayern were playing that way before he arrived. So I think it's an even game in a sense. I would have expected Man United to have this amount of possession, but there's still time. I still think this team is finding its feet, especially with Rashford as a number 9.
So we've had another contribution here from Ben Smith. Thank you. It says, wouldn't mind if we played Rashford on the right. Jared, would you play him on the right hand side, or would you? I mean, obviously the choices there are very slim pickings, isn't it? You got Lingard, and that's about it. Mata, but Mata, Mata's not a right winger anyway. He's too slow.
Yeah, I mean that in itself should have been snuffed out ages ago. Mata on the right hand side. Any manager should have realised. No, don't do it.
No, and I would not play Rashford in what to me is not even close to his best position. I can understand moving him on the left a little bit. He fits there when we need him. I can understand putting him a little behind the striker, but his role will eventually be as a striker. And I think if you deviate too much from that, I don't think that's necessary. He doesn't need if he can sub in as a right wing, but it shouldn't be a consistent thing. We need a right winger to be there. That's a firm right winger, or again, someone like a Perisic who can truly play on both flanks seamlessly.
You know, I'm seeing here. I mean, you got Bay in the middle.
Yeah.
Darmian was out on the left side there, out on the left wing. And I'm thinking to myself here, if you're supposed to be the right-sided defender, what the hell are you doing out on that left-hand side when Luke Shaw's out there?
That is a very good question, unless Luke Shaw has been asked to play in a slightly more advanced role.
Right.
To back him up. I mean, Luke Shaw in this game, against Robin, Ribery, whoever else, they're going to have him spinning as if he's on the fairground ride, because he won't know which way to turn.
Yeah.
He's not fully fit to deal with that level of trickery. And again, the left-hand side has always been an issue. No one consistently has taken that position.
So we got a super chat from Matthew. Cheers, man. Shock horror.
Yeah.
The year is 2038. The world has advanced beyond belief. Football is now played by androids, but Darmian somehow sneaks into the first team as right back. Good one, Matthew. Yeah, that's a good one.
So, only as a sub though.
Yes. Marcus Menzel says the team should be the focus and not the manager or individual players.
Agree.
Brian C says this is a good game. I think it's a good game tactically from Bayern, but United just cannot get the ball down on the floor. They can't string 6-7 passes together at the minute. As soon as they're getting the ball at the back, they're trying to pump it long to Alexis, but it's just being intercepted all the time. And again, they've lost the ball. Fred's lost it. Dangerous position. Shot. De Gea saves at his low down left-hand side.
We will be saying that a lot today, and a lot this season.
De Gea saves.
De Gea saves.
A question I've got for you two.
Yep.
From the current Bayern team that is on the pitch, if there was one player that you would take, who would it be?
They've got a young winger. I can't think of his name there.
Coleman?
That's him.
Kingsley Coleman. Yeah.
That's the lad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the lad.
Oh.
I think we just need an out-and-out winger. So Coleman for me.
Yeah, Jared.
Easy. Alaba.
Yeah,
we
you stole my thunder.
talked-
You stole my thunder as well. You know.
Roddy, great minds think alike. I pretend to have one, and it's interesting because when you look at a player like him, he is so good at everything a left back needs to be good at. And I love him. I wish he was on this team. I also love Kimmich. I think both of them are 1 and 1A. Every single other person on the Bayern team can be replicated. Everyone, except for them.
Jared, could you read out the Bayern team again so people in the comments can pick their player, please?
Sure. While I pull it up, Rodney, what's your thoughts on it?
Say again. I was literally watching the game.
But when you what's your thoughts on it with who you'd take from that team?
No, I would take Alaba. I would actually take. I get the idea about Koeman. I think he's a really good and talented player and young and quick. But I think that the left-hand side of our defence or midfield, whether it's Ashley Young and Alaba or Luke Shaw and Alaba, I'm thinking, dreamland of Alaba on the left-hand side for Manchester United. He's such a technically gifted player who's comfortable with the ball at his feet, doesn't seem to panic, you know, poses a threat going forward. For me, definitely him. But that's just been, I mean, I posed the question in itself, because you could take quite a few players from that team, but I just thought, if there was just one, who would you take? And I think to have a strong defence, but also have a defence that's calm, is a good thing to have.
A lot of people in the comments are agreeing with you, Alaba. I did see a couple saying Kimmich, and I've seen one, I think the name was Quiz on My Face, who said Neuer, which is interesting.
Ooh.
Because then, I mean,
let's not talk about David De Gea's position.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
I would not. I actually wouldn't take Neuer over De Gea, and I wouldn't take Neuer at all right now. I think Neuer has seen his best days behind him. Certain goalkeepers are good to their late 30s, like a Buffon, and some goalkeepers have a massive injury and it sets them back years. Neuer had a bad injury this past year, and he has not performed where he needs to be. I don't know that I've ever seen, like the trajectory De Gea is on is incredible. I mean, to watch him grow, to watch him prevent goals that absolutely nobody can save. He is the best goalkeeper in the world. I understand he didn't have a good World Cup, but to the judgment that you can't say people who have a great World Cup must be signed, I think it goes the alternative way. Someone who has an off World Cup shouldn't forget their club form that is consistent every week. So I would never replace De Gea, ever.
George Kyle says if Lewandowski was playing, he'd take him over Lukaku. And another super chat has come in.
That's a very funny one.
That's funny.
Another super chat by Imrano TV, so thanks for that. It says, guys, stop giving Jose ideas. He'll now sign Koeman and play him left back. Do you know what, Imran? Totally forgot about that, bud. Sorry. Totally forgot about that. So, yeah, I don't want Koeman at United. All right? I don't want Koeman at United. KK says our fullbacks are so poor. Kai Bow says the Rashford story always follows the same pattern. He plays crap on the wing, he's a striker. He gets moved to play as a striker and plays crap. He's better on the wing. Interesting, yeah, because you do see that a lot, don't you? I mean, for me, in another couple of seasons, he'll be the out-and-out striker for United, I think. I don't see him.
I agree with you, and that's why I said, you know, a short while ago, is that I was one of those that said he needs to go on loan.
Yeah.
He needs to actually spend more than the odd 20 minutes every other weekend as a number 9. He needs to be the number 9.
Yeah.
You know?
Jared?
I don't disagree with that. I think, you know, with Rashford, it's so tough. You know that somebody staying at the club and learning the club's mentality and certain things about it is valuable, but he already knows that. So to your point, going out on loan to a team that he would start every single week in the front of the team, I think would be invaluable experience for him.
I'd go one further. I'd know the team he would go to as well.
Tell me.
It would be Leicester as a sweetener for Harry Maguire.
You know what's
Just
funny?
Cheeky Leicester.
Be perfect. Because again, there's normally, in Leicester's team, normally someone plays right behind Vardy.
Yeah.
It's normally Okazaki, but when you really look at it, it's like a Rashford player would never be benched on that team, would get service, would deal with the difficulties that we tend to deal with in our team, and could grow to the player we want to see him at quicker by going.
Yeah.
Could be very cool. The Bayern lineup, by the way, is Neuer, Sule, Hummels, Thiago, Ribery, Martinez, Robin, Gnabry, Muller, Alaba, and Kimmich, and then they have a great bench too. Lewandowski, Boateng, Goretzka, Rafinha, and the rest, and Koeman. The rest I'm not reading. It's okay.
So, I mean, this is a pattern of the first half here. David De Gea's he's made a save, picked it up, and he's just hoofed it up to Rashford down the left-hand side.
He's not collected
Rashford,
it.
And he's gone nowhere. Possession straight back to Bayern.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is seriously a problem coming into the new season, because obviously some Premier League managers are going to be watching this and thinking, okay, you know, United. It looks like without the ball there, Rodney, it looks like United is shifting to a 5 in midfield.
I think they have.
Yeah, and they're just leaving Rashford up top on his own.
I think they've shifted into a 5 for the simple reason is that when Robin gets the ball, United double team him because they know how problematic he is. They know that he'll come in on his left. So they try and stop that option, which means it takes away one midfield player. So there's less in midfield, so someone then has to drop back. So Rashford will look like he's going to be on his own.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would have liked Sanchez to be closer to him. But this is all again about when you've got defenders that are, and this is the Alderweireld and Maguire debate, that actually they're born leaders and they would say push up, don't drop, push up, and push up onto players and tell the midfield where they need to be. Well, it looks like at this moment in time that Bayern are going through Manchester United's defence with ease, and you really want to put a stop to that.
Yes, most definitely.
I got a comment here for you that I'm kind of curious on. Johnny White, United are a De Gea injury away from disaster, and no matter what we say positive, that's dead on. That's very accurate. Whereas other teams, they lose their goalkeeper, they could recover easier than we can. What would happen with something like that? Because he's not been hurt yet, but he could get hurt, and then what?
I try not to have those dark thoughts in my head, Jared. I try not to have those dark thoughts.
I get it.
You get it. I can see there's a direct question to me, and I'm not avoiding your question. I see with the De Gea issue. I think any Man United fan would not want him injured, and I think,
of course not.
With the goalkeepers that they have on the team selection now, you're praying that they're up to the task, should they be called.
But you would think they would be though, Rod, didn't you?
I would think so. I think like anyone, they're going to be training with David De Gea, so they're going to go through the same training drills, the same level of practice. They'll see what he does. It's not. I think that playing in goal is something that I never ever wanted to do because I always thought goalkeepers were crazy anyway. But you have to have a certain level of single-mindedness and kind of focus to be a goalkeeper, because at any moment you're called into action, and I think that any goalkeeper that's number 2 or number 3 will realise at any point in time they're going to have to play first team football, so they should be ready.
See, no, I agree with Giselle, Cesar, Romero's fine. I'm quite comfortable with Romero. I think during the Europa League, a couple of people said, "Oh, he can't catch a ball, he can't do this, he can't do that." But I was quite confident. He kept quite a few clean sheets throughout that tournament, and he has done a couple of jobs as well towards the back end of last season. So I think Romero doesn't really get the credit he deserves as a number 2. He's
as a number 2,
yeah, he's obviously nowhere near De Gea status.
No,
but as a number 2, he's an able deputy for me.
I actually, taking it away from Manchester United for just a little moment, I believe that if he was available, Argentina probably would have progressed a little bit more than the current goalkeeper that they have, which is at Caballero, who's at Chelsea. Yep. So I agree with you. He doesn't get enough credit, Romero. I think he's a very good number 2. And if you've got someone who's a first choice international goalkeeper as your number 2, you shouldn't really complain.
Yeah, what's that? I mean, Jared?
I agree. I mean, Romero's a good number 2. He's not startable. I think the mistakes that Romero tends to make come out the more he plays. He can have moments, no question about it. Like when we made that Europa League run, Romero was great. I mean, he won it for us. He had moments of brilliance during it. But if he was playing consistently on a 38-game season, it'd be a disaster. So he could definitely get us through a couple of games. Like if De Gea went down for a week, we can get through a week. We can get through a month. We ain't getting through more than that, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bayern, just to talk about the game for a second, Bayern had a very, very good chance on the edge of our box there with Ribery, but thankfully Pereira was in the way. Else, I think De Gea might have been shifting to his left-hand side. They're looking at, or just offside for Bayern. United are sitting very, very deep now. They're getting pushed back. It's not a good sign. They got to get this ball and try and work it out. Stop hoofing the long balls up the Rashford, because it is not working. They got to play it out from the back.
You see how easy it is to put in a couple of players that haven't been a part of the tour, and then the system seems to look disjointed.
So it's 30 minutes in, and they're stopping for the drinks break. So
the hydration break.
Yes, let's take some comments then. Andrew Griffith says, we miss Matic. Ikam says, let's have a look. Lindelof, Bailey, centre backs. Valencia, right wing back. Martial, left wing back. I don't think that will work, right? Pogba, Fred, Pereira, midfield. Martial would be left wing with Lindelof covering left back and Sanchez and Lukaku through strike. No, mate, that doesn't work, Ikam. Sorry. When you say Martial at left wing back, mate, no.
He doesn't even like playing out of position now. Could you imagine him as a left wing back?
Guy Griffiths, thanks for the super chat. He says, love seeing Rashford in the number 10 shirt.
Yeah,
I think good. So far for the first 30 minutes, I think him and Pereira again have probably been the bright sparks. But it's just a shame that Rashford is having to feed off the long balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's really noticeable with this performance so far is that the midfield have not been able to move with the ball. Not to move the ball, but move with the ball at ease or comfortably. No balance. We haven't got anyone that can pick the ball that I can see that can pick the ball up and actually sidestep a player and create space and go forward. We always seem to be slightly too slow. If Bayern are 2 weeks away from the start of their season, they look fresh. They look like they're ready now.
Mm-hmm.
See, sometimes I wonder what games some people are watching, because Archie in the comments has just said Pereira's done nothing. Stop exaggerating. I mean, I've seen Pereira 3 or 4 times so far this half get his body in the way on the edge of the box to stop
doing
the
ugly
coming
stuff.
in.
Doing the ugly stuff. Yeah.
That's it. And sometimes doing the ugly stuff is what makes you stand out. So,
right.
So, I mean, Pereira, well, I mean, Kyle's saying it there. Pereira, bright spark, what has he done? I mean, he's getting in the way of the shots. Obviously, we've not had any attacking play, but he's getting his body in the way. I mean, for all we know, without him blocking that Ribery shot, it could have been 1-0, because I think De Gea was in trouble there. Selwyn says we need Pep. Well, I don't think we need him yet. I wouldn't go down that route. Let's have a look. A couple of people saying F Pep. Tom Collins says we have been stunning. I hope that's sarcasm. And Anders Suwan 84, guys, where's Mark? Mark is in Spain having
Aorta.
So
watermelon.
A beer,
watermelon.
This, and watermelon.
Or pineapple. We don't know yet.
Or pineapple. Yeah. A couple of people saying we need Martinez. That's got to be sarcasm, surely. Thomas Muller says Bay and Lindelof looks solid. Yes, Bay very impressive in this first 30 minutes. Again, hasn't really stood out, but has done the simple things well.
Bay looks good. I think Bay's the kind of player he needs someone else alongside him. As much as Lindelof has been fine, or Smalling or Jones, this is where the Alderweireld and Maguire conversation kind of comes into its own. Because if you've got two strong individuals that are talkers, that are organisers, some of the things that are happening in front of them, in terms of the midfield picking up runners off the ball, that would be dealt with. And you wouldn't actually then see what would look like a 5-man midfield with Rashford all on his own in the centre circle.
Okay.
Yeah,
You didn't like a recommendation I said to him. Okay, Vupo, I'll find another one for you.
What's it?
I recommended a film to him. He didn't like it.
Oh, what? Oh, you can't say the film.
No.
Okay.
The Pereira thing is interesting because I think it's nice to see that the fans starting to see what he can do in a role that is not easy to be played at all. And you wonder if, like, again, this is already good planning. Matic is in a position where the older you get, the more you break down very quickly. He will not make 38 games this year because he's going to need breaks in between, especially as a Champions League run cup. So Pereira and him, I assume, will be a phenomenal partnership off of each other. Because I think the way he's been playing, you have to think he's going to be involved. And again, if you say he hasn't done anything this game, he's made the ugly things look easy, and that is what good players do.
Yeah. So let's... No, it wasn't George, no. Sorry. Sorry to burst your bubble, mate, but it wasn't. Let's have a look.
I didn't want to say it.
Stern says we need nitrous oxide in our flank. We need something because it's just not working. I think this pre-season...
Shouldn't we get Gareth Bale? Just for...
Well, was it really likely we could have got him, though, with Ronaldo going? Yeah.
No.
So I think that's probably just a pipe dream.
A very big pipe dream at that.
Yes. Tyler Rooney says worst game ever. It's not been bad.
Some people would have said the Liverpool game was the worst game ever, but you know what happens? A week is a long time in football.
Pancake, you're right.
Jason,
we got a couple of Liverpool fans in the comments.
Oh, excellent. Have they
found
the cure for the carriers virus yet?
£75 million.
Paper planes as much interesting as our play. Yes, I think that's probably the highlight of the game so far.
Yeah, that did look like a very robust paper plane, actually.
We look like Arsenal, no leadership or desire, says Prog.
It's a bit strong.
Let's have a look.
Sleeping, watching this game. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I got one more.
Kay says it's sad. It's, you know, it's almost like we've seen this before. You know, we're hoping and wishing for change, but it's never going to come. I don't think. Justice Zero, I think that's a zero, says, have we had the ball for more than a minute? Thanks for the contribution. I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. It's really strange. You know, one of the players that it hasn't started for Bayern, Boateng, linked to Manchester United. The last thing you want him to do is come on and score a goal.
Yeah.
From a set piece or anything like that.
Right.
That would really well, I'd be upset about that. I think as well, Manchester United, there are some of us who are, I think, spoilt in terms of who we need to bring in and who we should be linked with or who are currently linked with. Everyone knows that the team needs something, whether it's a creative midfielder, whether it's a winger on the left or the right or a left back. But so whoever is going to come in, can they be any worse than the players that are already there?
No,
seriously,
hope not, wouldn't you?
Oh no, but I mean, genuinely, I mean, everyone's saying, oh, you know, in terms of Maguire, we don't want him, he's not good enough. But Maguire is definitely better than Smalling, and he's definitely better than Jones.
I think this is where people get lost. It's the upgrade on what we have, isn't it? It's not the name, it's the upgrade on what we've got. Obviously, Jones is horrendous. I'm not a lover of Smalling. You know, Lingard, I don't think is a natural right winger. So
no, he's not a winger at all. He's not a winger at all. Not a winner.
We do need some major upgrades to this team, without doubt. And you can only deal with what's available. You know, you don't want to settle for second best, but I think sometimes throughout this transfer window and last transfer window, I think Jose had to settle for second best because of the board and Woodward.
I think it's not even so much settling for second best. I think it's about realising where you are now shopping in terms of the players that you're going to attract. This is it. The cream of the crop aren't necessarily always going to go to Manchester United. Yeah. They might be interested in going to Chelsea, even though Chelsea may not be in the Champions League. It's because they're in London, or the magic of Pep. Everyone wants to play for him, apparently, or Klopp, or you've got so many other factors to consider just in this league, let alone any of the other big major European teams in the other leagues that are also looking at the same kind of player. So For me, knowing that Man United are linked with a player like Maguire, people may say he's not good enough, but I think he is. I think he is. But then we said the same thing about Jones going to be the next captain of England when he was purchased, and Smalling and all of those other players that have come through. Makeda's going to be the next best thing, and everything else. And then, you know, we quickly realise they're not. Yeah. And we have to just suck it up and say, well, this is where we are.
I mean, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but Bayern again, you know, they just seem so much. I even think they played less pre-season games than us, but they look so much sharper.
Yeah.
So much up for the fight. I mean, and this isn't a United side who is full of new signings or anything. Yeah, they've all, with the exception of Sanchez and Pereira, they pretty much know each other inside and out, really.
Yeah.
So why they're playing like this, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's Man United, either they're playing within themselves for the first 45 minutes and there's going to be a change, or this is the game that they're going to do, and they've been instructed, don't get injured, just go through the motions.
Right.
I mean, Red Jedi's got a great comment here, move off the ball.
You know,
there is no movement off the ball.
No.
There's also another super chat here from Ernest, thank you. It says, so Bayern start their season in 2 weeks, we start in a week, and they look much sharper than us.
Yeah.
Lots of their players are also just returning from break. Exactly, Ernest, exactly. Just what we were talking about there. They look so much more up for the fight, so much quicker into the tackles. They're pressing high up the pitch as well. I mean, lucky for United there.
Lucky.
Signs.
Well, there's the
warning signs. Absolutely disgraceful play there at the back.
To be honest, as much as I thought that this would be an interesting game, it's definitely not turned into the game that I thought it would be. But what has been true is that Bayern, with the aging superstars that they have on their team, they've showed that they mean business.
Yeah.
They mean to be ready for the league. And those are the kind of margins that you see when you look at teams across Europe and think they're world-class players. They may be in their early 30s and people think they're being written off, but they're world-class players. And I think Luke Shaw...
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I'll just say I think Luke Shaw is having a really, really tough time. Really tough time.
He is. I mean, Arjen Robben out on that right-hand side, Luke Shaw's left, obviously, is absolutely getting torn apart.
Yeah.
Absolutely getting torn apart. Luke Shaw looks like he's had his confidence shot completely. But
I'm sorry for laughing. The reason I'm laughing, I'm thinking he's probably thinking, I'm so glad I'm on this side of the pitch, away from the touchline, because I cannot hear what Jose is saying about me. So he's probably got that in his mind, thinking whatever's coming will come during the halftime break.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good.
No, but then you get to this point where we always discuss how essential Sandro is for this team and how much we needed to correct the left back position. Yeah. And I have to sit there and say, like, is this just Mourinho saying, I'm going to do it? You want me to use Luke Shaw every single game? I'm going to do it, but we're going to lose because of that reason. Like, because that's where these teams are going to exploit. That's where the mistakes are going to be made. And I want you to see the fault that you're making, because you wouldn't give me a $50 million defender. That is a good deal.
Yeah. Glenn, in the comments, I mean, Rodney, what do you think of this one? He's not impressed with Fred so far. What do you make of Fred?
I've said I think Fred looks slightly. He's kind of behind. He's not in sync with everyone else. He's either slightly ahead of the ball, or he's not reading the pass. He's overrunning the pass or the play when he has the ball. But if this is the bad game that he needs to get out of his system before the league begins, then let it happen now, because you don't want it to happen in a league game. I'd rather him come off and get a flea in his ear from Jose saying, you need to do better, you shouldn't do this, keep it simple, look for the player and move. But right now, in that midfield, no one seems to be actually grabbing the game and saying, right, this is what we need to do.
Lynn Hall's got a great comment here. It says, Alexis is decent as a striker, support striker, but he's not a great winger anymore.
No, his days of him as a winger are gone. And when he was in his, I think before he went to Barcelona, I'm trying to think of the team he was at. I think it was Udinese. I think so. Maybe wrong, but he was fantastic when he was first in the Italian before he moved over to Barcelona. But he is, as Marcus said, when you start to get older, your legs go, so you want to come inside. So
yeah. And then you remember we were linked with Axel Witsel. That's a done deal. He's going to Dortmund.
This is the guy that went to China for money.
Right.
And everyone said, "Oh, what's he doing?" Now he's going to Dortmund. I mean, seriously, the Man United cannot compete with Dortmund.
No, but I also don't think we wanted it, to be honest. If we wanted him, we would have had him. I have to think also that they were just, in China they overpaid him. They're like, I assume there's different rules than there are here. Like, we're not paying you anymore. Get out.
Yeah.
Just go.
That's very simple, Jared.
Right. Like I have a contract. Well, get out. Still, we're not paying you anymore.
So that's the end of the first half. Very disappointing for me, for United. But we've got a super chat here again from Justice. Thanks for that. It says, this first half is a fireball offence. We literally have no idea what we are doing. We have no passing angles that you see most teams have. Our players look bad because the coach has no game plan.
Oh, it started. See, it started.
It's starting already. I did say at half time it's going to start, didn't
I?
So, I mean, first half, Jared, Rodney, what do you think?
Lucky for it to be 0-0.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunate to be 0-0. Bayern had, what I would say, 2 very good chances that they should have scored from. United's play, disjointed, too defensive, and not because they've set out that way. I think it's because they don't know how to handle the movement of the Bayern, I would say, wingmen. And they've definitely made it difficult for United by keeping them wide. They've not come inside at any point in time. They've spread the pitch. They've made it wide. And every time, for example, we talked about Shaw, Robin gets the ball. They realise that Shaw can't handle him on his own, so you double team him. So therefore, you lose a player in midfield. So they've worked out very well what they need to do.
Jared?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was boring. I think it's unfortunate that we
don't mince your words.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but again, you could also use the word composed. If they didn't score, it's 0-0. If we have another 45 minutes like that, I'm more concerned. If we maybe open the game up and press the ball more and move off the ball more, who knows? Jose could just, again, it's preseason, so you have to, I guess the logic would be maybe he is training them for different halves at different times. Yeah. There's going to be times where they're shutting up shop and they're not making moves forward and they're playing counter-attacking football. And you want to spend 45 minutes on that against a good, strong side of Bayern, because that is more important at points. And then maybe at the second half, you're going to let the team flow and free throw and see what they can produce. And again, I'm more concerned if it's 90 minutes of consistency and boringness. I would be happier if there was 45 minutes where he got people trained to shut up shop, and then 45 minutes where we saw how they could play openly.
Right. Okay. So Sebastian here, to tie in with that, Sebastian says Jose is really good defensive performance against the side that is known for possession. Everyone calm down.
Yeah.
And we have a super chat from Mike Hill. Thanks for that. It says the post-Fergie nightmare will never end. Supporters can see obvious things the manager can't.
I suppose the supporters have the luxury of not having to manage.
Yeah.
With the constraints, we're the fantasy football manager, or you can say he should do this, he should do that, he should sell this player, he should sell that player. And as much as we don't want certain players there, we can't move them on because it could be something in their contract that the club are obliged to fulfill. And then the players that we're linked to, either they're just newspaper talk or there's an inability to get the players through the door because of something. It's this. There are a number of different things. I have no idea what the best style of play would be for Manchester United. People keep talking about the United way. They're all, in terms of wingers, they don't exist anymore in football.
Yeah.
They're a dying breed. Perisic, Bailey, Ribery, Robin, those guys, you know, if you get a good winger, you hold on to them for their life. You don't want them to leave.
Right.
Alden 15, thanks for the comment, mate. It says Fred is at least trying to forward passes, unlike others. HKN Music, thanks for the contribution. And again, HKN, thanks for another contribution. But yeah, I mean, does this team, is it showing signs of the lack? Obviously it's a lack of creativity, because, you know, again, another first half goes by, we've not had a shot. I don't even think we've attempted a shot, let alone have one on target. But I mean, is it signs of heavily reliance on the likes of Pogba? Before we go into that, just got another super chat, so hang on a second.
Let me get my ums in place.
Sun Goku Ian 97, thanks for the super chat, mate. It says, why can't United realise we're failing as a club? All they care about is top four. We need Toby, not Maguire. Need a finished article. And another super chat from James Miller, thanks. It says, give me manager and I will lead us to the treble. Very bold statement. So yeah, I mean, heavily reliant on Pogba.
I think you have to say so, right? Like, I think you have to say that he's supposed to be the creativity in this team. He's supposed to be the one, like, he is supposed to be the linchpin, the thing keeping everything going. Also, Lukaku's not in there. So, yeah, we're missing stars, and probably the stars of the team, but you don't want to see this. You know, I don't think it should be all or nothing. I think we should be able to see improvement adding Pogba and Lukaku back into the team, but I think that we should be playing better, more open football than we are now.
But the thing is with that, Jared, is that I think even if Lukaku was in there tonight, I still don't think we'd have created anything more than what we have done. Purely because I just think Bayern have been pressing so far up the pitch and very dominant in keeping the ball. I don't think Lukaku would really make an awful lot of difference, except from running the channels, which Rashford tries to do, but he doesn't really do it successfully.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Marcus, in the sense that Manchester United don't have the quality across the pitch. They don't have the quality. If you say, for example, Pogba were to return and Matic to return and Lukaku, obviously who steps down from them, you know, for those players to come in, you're still going to have the issue of how's the ball going to move from defence to attack, who's going to create space. I know that everyone's going to say that, you know, Pogba's won the World Cup, we expect him. I've been watching this guy for 2 years. I haven't seen any of those performances for Manchester United. Yeah. Saw them for France. I'm happy for French people. Fantastic. For Manchester United, those performances have never materialised. So
but can you,
I'm not expecting any different from him, not one bit.
But can you firmly put the blame there at Jose, or do you think his attitude is different towards United than it is for his country?
I think to answer that question, I have to actually think back to when Jose said something about Pogba in the World Cup, and he was being interviewed by ESPN, and he said that the World Cup is the perfect competition for him because he's focused. There are no distractions, there's no social media, there's no videos of haircuts or trainers or dancing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
There was a sole focus. And I think it's all about the player. With the league, you have to be totally focused to think, I want to win the league, which means you have to forfeit certain things throughout the year and apply yourself consistently throughout the year. Hand on heart, I doubt there is any Manchester United fan that can say that he dominated a game for 90 minutes in the 2 years that he's been here. People will say 45 minutes, people will say 20 minutes, but not 90 minutes where he's actually dominated a game, that people have seen every attribute. So I'm not blaming the manager, and I'm not even actually blaming him, because it's about whether you focus. He has the ability.
Right, Rodney, just hang on a second. I've just got to read these out before they disappear.
Yeah,
right?
get them.
Carl, thanks for the super chat. It says, why is Luke Shaw still at United? My old lass will do a better job. Why on earth have we not signed a left back?
Quick,
Good question. Sandro was obviously the one we was in for. Son Goku says, thanks for the super chat. I reckon I'll be a fantastic coach at United. I won the treble with my first season on FIFA 18. I signed Heskey. He scored 70 goals.
See,
absolutely amazing.
You see,
very nice work.
What he did there is he ruined all of his good work with that last sentence. I signed Heskey. Sorry.
Adam Crocker, thanks for the super chat, pal. And we have another one from Bad Code 010101010111. Jose said it would take 2 years to get LVG style out of the club. How long will it take to recover from Jose's style? That is a very good super chat.
Right.
I think.
Again, you can only answer that question when you know who the manager is that takes over from Jose. That is the honest. That you could not. No one can say it will take unless you know who's coming in. You can't even actually put a timeline on that.
Yeah, and I think you also go back to the comments you were making with Pogba, and when he performed that second half against City, and they didn't win the title against us, there will not be a person out there who said that's the best. That he looked like the best player in the world. There wasn't a single person who can touch what he was doing for 45 minutes, and he cared. Everything he had was in that game, and I think to Rodney's point, like, how many times has he done that over a full game? How many times after we lost the FA Cup, he was getting a haircut on Lay Equip the next day on Instagram? It's like, you know what? None of these people do this. Pogba's skill set has never been questioned by anyone. He's arguably the most talented midfielder with Kevin De Bruyne in the world. But his ability to focus when it matters, when other people around him are playing like duty, is a problem. And thus, he's not a leader like he has been for France. So how does he turn into one? Is the question.
I don't. To be honest, I think with Pogba, and I think this what Jose said was right. And said this about what he can do for the team, or about how he can demonstrate his ability consistently. And that's always been the question. That question isn't a new question. That question's been there for 2 years. It's just everyone knows he can. It's just waiting. That's all.
A lot of people in the comments are calling for Zidane.
Good luck with that.
You know, Nico says call him tonight, save the club.
Oh, please. He only does continental Europe.
Yeah, Dave B, will there be fan cams after the game? Yes, there will. I'll say it again. I did say at the start of the show. I should have said it again. Flex is actually out at the game. So, yes, if anyone's out there at the arena, at the game, make sure look for Flex, get on the fan cams, let us know what you're thinking. Apologies again for the slight buffering at the start of the show. It was a problem on my end with updates on my laptop that I should have sorted before the show started, and hopefully it won't happen again. Everyone, if you like the show, if you like me and Rodney and Jared hosting the show, hit that like button, share the video, subscribe if you're new.
I can say that there is a comment. Is it Peter Jewel Samuelson? Says, so great you guys are doing this watch along. He's given the 4 thumbs up. He says this is regards from the Faroe Islands.
Thank you. Thank you for
thank you. Yeah,
that's very kind, sir. Nice.
I will also give Neville Longbottom a shout out because I like the name. And he says, Jared, stop whining. Pogba isn't being managed well. And you know what? That is an interesting assessment. But when you really look at it, do you blame Jose 100%? Does Jose control what he does on social media? Look at Lingard. Lingard's on social media every day. But after losses, he looks like he actually cares that we lost. He looks hurt by the loss. He looks like he wants to do better. So I don't see it.
I mean, in my limited career as a Sunday and Saturday football player, not of the heights, after losing a game, I didn't want to talk to anyone. Not one person. Not one. I didn't want to talk to anyone for at least an hour. I just wanted to be able to just kind of go over what went wrong, think about what I'm going to do next time and work on interact. I didn't honestly couldn't talk. My brothers couldn't talk to me. My mum and dad wouldn't talk to me. They'd just be like, "Just don't leave them alone." So when I see this whole social media, people are on. Oh, I've seen on Log Me Out. Good, I like logins.
That's the first one I've seen.
That's the first one. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. He's my alter ego. He only comes out on certain times.
Adam Crocker again. Thank you for the super chat, mate. Leave a comment though next time. Leave a comment.
And
Son Goku.
Again, right.
Thank you
Thoughts
for
on
the
Rashford.
super chat. Thoughts on Rashford. Bring number #10. Not feeling it, to be honest. Number 10. I mean, we did discuss it towards the start of the show. I mean, I agree with Jared. What Jared was saying. I don't think numbers on the shirts are a major thing at this stage. When they actually come out for the Premier League season, and if he's got the number 10 shirt, yeah, then I'll believe it. But at the minute, no, I don't think it's anything major. Justice, thanks for the super chat again, mate. Says Pogba doesn't care because he knows Jose's the problem. That's interesting, Rodney. I mean, we'll put that one to you.
I mean, like, as the therapist, I don't know, is Jose the problem? I don't know. 2 years, everyone's saying that he signed at Manchester United for Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
He signed because of him. He came back to the club. Now that Jose wants to see more from him, he's unhappy with Jose asking him to do more. For me, I don't get it. I think obviously there are moments where you could think he's asking Pogba to do certain things, and the media are saying he shouldn't be doing that. He's been disrespectful. Obviously there were the comments about we need to buy more defensive midfielders to release him. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. If anyone can tell me the formation that France played in the World Cup, I swore Pogba was in a 2 midfield.
Yeah.
I actually swore he was standing right next to Kante.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to say to me he needs to play in a 3 and he can't play in a 2, I think that argument is dead in the water. It doesn't exist anymore. I think it's all about application. He's now a World Cup winner. But I will add this. There was a World Cup winner at Arsenal, but it didn't do them anything either.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting anything different from Pogba, but it's about what he does on the pitch. And if that changes, then that's great. If it doesn't, then it's just more of the same.
There's another super chat from Man's Got Tricks. Thank you. It says United are so crap and boring. I wish I never supported them. I grew up watching United. They used to be so fast and attacking. Now it's boring. Jose out.
No. I will always support Manchester United.
Very emotional. I want to hear more.
Yes. Very controversial super chat. Very
What's
brave.
that one?
Very brave. Rodney, Jared, what would you say to that? Before we get into that though,
I wish I never supported them.
Yeah, second half just kicked off. Lewandowski's come on, which I think is bad news for United.
How can you say you wish you'd never supported United?
I think Alaba's on as well. And another super chat from Son Goku. Thank you. It says thoughts on Ibra saying something special is happening.
Is he coming back?
Oh, jeez.
I don't think so, mate. I think that one's gone there.
So someone has asked me if I could make them a mod because Mark has gone. So I'm like, that's not my job.
Unfortunately, no, we can't.
No, that's not my job.
Thanks for trying, though.
Yeah, right. So, I think it's an interesting comment, though. Like, I do think people not feel that way, but I think it hits people when you have to watch this week after week. I told someone, as a United fan, we should all be gifted an hour of therapy for free after every single game with a therapist paid for by United. Just so that we can deal with this being a fan of this team. Because it hurts sometimes, but you suffer the bad times to get to the good ones. And we've had a lot of good ones. So we're in for some bad ones while we sort through it. But it's not going to be forever.
Yeah. Sandeep, I'll still read them out, mate. Put something in there. I'll still read it out. Mike Hill with a super chat. Thank you. It says, let's just go all out for Mbappe. Worth a shot. I think
I'd pay $300 million for him.
Yeah, I think if there was any chance, go for him. I've got to say, I did say that about Neymar as well before he went to PSG. but obviously it didn't happen. Sun Goku again, thank you, says maybe Mourinho put weight on. That's why we are playing bad. It could be. Interesting theory. Yeah. Theory.
I am curious about that though, with what they said, what you were just saying with Mbappe, right? Like, he is the best player. Looks like he's going to be the best player in the world, and I would pay anything for him. To that same standard, I would not pay anything for Neymar. I don't want him anywhere near this team. I hate him after this World Cup. I think that he's a diving player, so I think that we got lucky by not getting him, but I really wanted him last summer. And it's like, you wonder, would Mbappe fit in the team? Would he want to play for Jose? How would you even acquire him? And would you want him?
Yeah. So, Bay is down at the minute again.
Surprise, surprise.
For the second time in this game. He's gone into a tackle with Gnabry. Oh, that looks, his left ankle was rolled. He got up, but he went straight back down again.
Perfect. Well, we'll be purchasing Alderweireld in 24 hours now.
Or Boateng.
Oh yeah, in fact, Boateng's looking on
Boateng.
thinking, now's my chance.
Yeah, Boateng's looking and calling his agent, being like, make sure we have the wire transfer ready.
Well, he's probably there having a chat with Mourinho now, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's probably there now. Karen Bansell, thanks for the super chat. It says, should we sack Jose even if he wins us the title?
I will take this after you go, Marcus, because I have a very good opinion on this one.
I get thrown under the bus then, do I?
All right, I want to hear
Normally it would be me, but I'm going to sit back and wait till the end.
I think yes. I think if he wins us the title, yes. If he doesn't get sacked, I'd be very surprised, because at United, I believe there's got to be a huge focus on the way we play football. I believe in Jose being given the 3 years that he asked for, but I think at the end of this third season, if we just finish in the top 4 with no silverware, or top 4 and just a cup, I don't think that's going to be enough. And I would like to see some fresh management come in, and I'd like to see possibly a board of directors thing come in as well, because I think that is really, really needed. Because obviously Woodward and the Glazers just haven't got a clue about the transfers.
I agree, and I think that to further, what Marcus said, I will say that if Jose wins the title in this season, whatever he wants to do is fine. If he wants to stay here for another year, okay. If he wants to go and get a payment, they better give him a payment. Because if he managed to win a title with this team, he deserves to be praised by every fan who's ever doubted him, being looked at like what he suffered with the media to get the way. Look, the play style's not good. Nobody's going to argue that. But the end result is this is a results business, and if he can bring a title to this team and stop us from going 15, 10, 20 years without a title and becoming Liverpool, deserves all the credit in the world. And then at that point, I think the fans need to sit back and say, we did it. We got the title. It's ours. It's not going to happen. We're not going to win the title this year. So the conversation that Marcus made, I think, is more easy to give an answer to, which is after this season, no matter what, I think the Mourinho and United relationship should end 100%.
Right. Before you go, Rodney, just like to point out here, Bay must have a serious problem here, because he's come off and Smalling has come on. We are just over the 50-minute mark into the game.
What did he do?
Nothing exciting is happening. Mourinho's having a word with Bay on the sidelines, and I think he's gone straight down the tunnel.
Yeah, he's probably taken a knock, and he's tried to play through the pain.
Yep.
And it's a little bit more serious. So we'll see. Smalling needs to get some game time. He's one of the players that didn't go to the World Cup, so obviously.
Yep.
Yeah, he should be.
He needs to he should be fresh and ready. That's what you're hoping.
Happen. I'm telling you, we're going to end up signing both of them.
Super chat.
I've been greedy.
We got super chat from Andrew Rossi. Thanks for this. It says ownership has to take some blame in this. Can't run it like a business and win. I think that's spot on. I think that's what's going on behind the scenes. Obviously, the Glazers want as much money as they can in their pockets, and I think they're not willing to give Mourinho a substantial amount of money unless they can make that money back through sponsorship deals.
The sponsorship part. There was a time, obviously, when the talk of sponsors was very limited. You hardly noticed anything. You knew the name or the brand on the shirt, and that was it. But it seems to be some Man United are sponsored with anything that moves everywhere around the world. The team is the most important part. The team, how the team function, the style of the team, obviously, is an issue. And I think with Jose, I think that the issue about style, he's aware of it, and I think he doesn't necessarily ignore it. But I think he wants to win the league first before he can start to address. You know, when someone's desperately got he has a brand, his own brand is as a winner. He has his own success to maintain, and if that period of time between his last success and his new one grows, then people start to doubt whether or not he is still the next best thing or the best thing. So for him, it's all about winning, and it's really strange. On my way back today, I was talking to an Arsenal fan, and he was saying, "Oh, you know, man, Jose needs to be sacked. Look at him. Look at what he did at Chelsea." Jose did exactly what he was meant to do at Chelsea. He'd gone to Chelsea from Porto, where he didn't have to spend too much money. And Abramovich said, "I will give whatever you want. I'll give you whatever you want to get me the league." And he did just that. Yeah. And when you have that style of ownership, and then you go to Madrid, and they say, "I'll give you whatever you want to win the league," then you become accustomed to it. You literally become accustomed to say, right, wherever I go, they're going to give me loads of money, because that's what I've been used to. So unfortunately, he's had to suffer because of his own success.
Justice with another super chat, thank you. It says, "We just got into their box, guys. Exciting stuff." Well, I mean, there was a bit of a danger there. I mean, Robin took the corner just now, and I think it was Lewandowski that got on the end of it at the back post, and it's just over. It's very dangerous from United. They're not coming forward at all.
I'm hoping that Lewandowski had the same level of success as he did in the World Cup, because he couldn't do anything. He couldn't get a shot on target. So
we got a super chat here from.
I'll give a response to this one, Marcus, after you have to read it.
I'm glad you went for that, mate. With a super chat, thank you. It says 5 times YNWA.
Yeah, well,
Jared?
It's not 6 times, you little group of You know, you gotta really give some interesting situations, Mr. Carius. Don't buy players, blah blah blah. We're not going to talk about you much. You know, honestly, you have a checkbook manager, Liverpool. So congratulations.
Listen, you got to understand, Liverpool they're riding high. They're riding high. You have to give them credit where there's due, but their league is what matters for them, and they haven't had it for a while. So, you know.
What was it?
Your
place. 20 times now. No. 20 years they haven't had the league, or 30 years? 30 years.
The last time they won the league, there was like cassette players, and I think they still had VHS.
VHS, yeah. What was the Beta since then?
There wasn't cell phone the last time Liverpool won the league.
People still went to the video store. I think there was Blockbusters or something like that.
Rodney, I was going to say there wasn't cell phones when Liverpool won the league. But don't worry, guys. At least you can scream and yell for Klopp. Scream and yell for a toothbrush for him.
Yeah. I think they found one.
Oh my God.
I see someone said Lodney. There's not been too many Lodneys. Yeah. That's good.
David Alaba's come off, and Juan Bernat has come on for Bayern.
Yeah.
Again, not seeing much from United going forward.
I have to be honest. I think
it's a very poor performance from United. This one.
It's almost like a 4-4-2 formation, you would say.
Yeah, I mean, oh dear, Rashford just got a flick on there, but no one's in front of him. No one is making the runs off the ball. There's no creativity here. I mean,
I got a good on that. It says, from Kid Charvey, I almost feel sorry for these players. They keep getting set up against top teams and look punch drunk and on the ropes. Ref, blow up and spare them.
have to be honest, they'll face the same level of commitment when they face teams like Huddersfield and Brighton. So, punch drunk against this quality or not, you still need to perform. They don't have a Thiago.
Sadiq's got a good comment here. He says this isn't football, and I got to be honest, this performance from United tonight is just absolutely terrible. I thought when we played Milan in the pre-season, I thought that was a stepping stone towards how good we could actually play under Mourinho. But then I just suddenly thought, no, it's not, because Milan just played into our hands. They played a very, very slow game, and that suited United all day long. Karen Bansal with contribution, thank you. It says, wouldn't Klopp Guardiola do better with our squad?
I hate to give an answer to that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I do.
I think yes, and I think Klopp Guardiola is that a new manager? Is that just one manager, or she just mentioned two managers?
I think she just mentioned the two.
Okay. I thought there was like a hybrid manager walking around the United Kingdom saying, I will do a better job.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that look, we call Klopp a passion merchant and all of the negatives, but I would like United to hire a passion merchant next time. I would like someone who's screaming and yelling and getting the players off their, when they're low, get them high. Guardiola, Klopp, Pochettino, they have the ability to lift their team. Jose has that ability in him, but hasn't shown it every game consistently like the other ones have. Klopp's in the stands when they're scoring, screaming. He's going to bars with the fans. Guardiola's
1-0. It's a goal. Bayern Munich.
Well, bound to happen.
Number 8 for Bayern. I don't know who it is. Well, actually, no. Yeah. And Herrera not picking him up. There's two of them, and he's got above both of them. They've not even jumped for it. And he's just nipped in at the front post, and the ball's gone in to the back of the net to De Gea's left-hand side. So 1-0 to Bayern Munich.
I'm surprised it's taken this long, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought they'd put it earlier, but to be honest, they've missed a couple of easy opportunities.
Yeah. This result, as it stands right now, isn't one that would be unusual against the Bayern team.
We should have backed him more. I believe that we have put him in the situation we're in. Not like he has done anything to bring us out of it, but just saying the board has been run like a business and not a club looking to win. And this is the result, is a manager having to makeshift a team.
We'll see. I mean, it is. Again, it's still a friendly. It's whether or not this performance occurs again throughout the season, and if there isn't any addition in terms of flair. It's a functional Manchester United team, a very functional team. Even with the players that are missing, it's very functional. There's no flair there that I would say that's going to stand out and make me stand on the edge of my seat. I don't think there is one player in the United team that actually would make me stand up and say, ooh, what are they going to do next?
So we got another super chat from Minnie Morner. It says, I think I'd rather watch a Sunday league game than Manchester United. At least then you would see a few goals and players with some spine and fight. Yeah.
Get Zidane in. I mean, and then the question is, if he did leave, would you really think Zidane would come here right now?
Only does continental Europe. Doesn't do England. Doesn't do England. Why would he? Go and tarnish his good name.
I agree.
Why?
I agree. And then here's a follow-up. So, Jared, you're wrong. Jose has not helped himself. Giving new contracts to the like of Ashley Young and Fellaini makes bringing in new signings more difficult. I have a direct response to that, and I don't think he had the money to fix the problem, so I think he settled for certain people and knew that he couldn't replace them if they left. I think that it's much easier than that. It's like Fellaini was not his first choice, but it became his only choice when he realized he would have to buy a new midfielder and not have money for a defender. So I do think he's had to piecemeal what he wants. I do think he has a weird affinity for Ashley Young that probably is undeserved.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually has an idea in terms of the actual transfer budget that Manchester United have available. I don't think they have any clear knowledge as to the amount of money the board will have said to him, this is what you're allowed to spend. Not one. I think it's probably a lot less, far less than what we believe it is. And with that, he's having to think, like anyone would if you're going shopping, I'm going to have to make changes, I'm going to have to make sacrifices. Certain players that I can keep for another year, I'll do. And in the areas where I need reinforcement, like he did for midfield, he's purchased the midfield player in terms of Fred. But maybe also, he knows that he's going to have to rely on players like Swansea or Fosu-Mensah or Pereira. And they're going to have to go through games like this and experience games where they don't have the ball for 75% and they're chasing the game, because you also learn from losing. It isn't just about winning.
At the minute we're 1-0 down, and Mourinho's answer is to bring on Jones, Fosu-Mensah and Scott McTominay, and he took off Rashford, Darmian and Mata.
Okay.
So I think it's safe to say, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the game is over. Not to be too negative or boring, but and McTominay here is playing as virtually a centre forward, and Sanchez is behind him.
Also, Marcus, just so everyone knows, Yerry Mina's going to Everton. Done deal.
Okay.
$37 million in American fee, so it's less than a £30 million deal, and 5-year deal, and it's according to Sport.
Oh, I hope that's not a deal that's going to backfire, and then Man United are interested in next year, and it's going to cost 80 million.
Right? Can you imagine?
I can imagine, actually. Yeah, I can genuinely imagine.
It's pretty crazy too, because like, I'm not saying Yerry Mina was the right signing, but this is the joke of it all. At £29 million, he is the right signing no matter what. Because what's the worst thing that happens?
Well, to be honest, it's the worst thing has already happened.
Right.
Manchester United have still got certain players like Darmian that they said they want to move on and they can't. They want to bring in. I mean, in terms of a right back, who would they bring in? Left back, we know. People have said they don't want Danny Rose because he's not good enough.
We've got a super chat here from Bio 2.0. Thank you. It says, until someone actually proves otherwise, everything points to Fellaini being his choice. No way you make me believe Woodward is that stupid to keep him. See, no, I think my theory with that is that Jose knew that, or he had an inkling that this summer was going to be like last summer.
Yeah.
And I think he just blatantly just wanted to beg Fellaini to stay because he knew what was coming. And Justice with another super chat, thank you. It says, can you blame Pogba if he wants to leave? Effing doing. We're losing and he brings on defensive players. This is why we won't win the league. Get him out. Man's got tricks with a super chat, thank you. It says, the amazing thing about United is even though the football is boring, we are all still supporting them and never leave. That's why we are the best fans. Totally agree. Yeah. Always support your club no matter what. Mini Mourner, thanks for the contribution. It says, maybe a master plan to make every other team think we are crap, then underestimate us while we pump them. As so far, that's all we are seeing and thinking. I think you've got to cling on to that. I think you've got to cling on to that. Coming on for the likes of Mata, Rashford. It's not on, I don't think. It's really not on.
It's not great. It's not great.
It's probably not the game that he probably wanted to see let Chong loose on, because he would have been asked to do too much defending. And then Jose couldn't win that because he'd be like, well, you put him on as an attacking player, but he'd still have to defend because Man United don't have the bulk of the play. So you then put on players who are used to defending.
Jared, do you want to put your Twitter in the comments, mate? A couple of people are asking for it.
Sure. It's also it's Jay Passerman for anyone who wants.
Put it in the comments. Rodney, do you want to put your
I will do,
Yeah.
and I might also put in my little YouTube as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, there I am. I'm trying to think what's my Twitter address. I don't type it.
Yeah.
There you go. It's already done.
Like the video, everyone, by the way, trying to get to over 1,500 likes, but that's ambitious. So let's say 1,000. Now I'm scared of Leicester, Ian Dodd. I actually think that game is so important in so many different ways. Because if it's a draw, or it's not a win, or it's a one, I feel there's so many ways the Leicester game's going to go wrong. The only way it can't go wrong is if he wins 4-0.
Oh, someone's just said I missed a super chat. Was that Karen? Karan, yeah, Karan Bansal. My super chat missed. Karan, just type it in the comments. I'll look for it and I'll read it out again. Sorry. My apologies. Darren Sweetman says Leicester will win Friday night. Andrew says Leicester will win. Leicester will win. So, yeah, I mean, we're having a drinks break at the minute. I mean, Friday, that's when it matters.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see the football changing at all. So, I mean, what's the way forward here? I mean, there isn't really many positives to talk about in this game. I mean, it's like Sadiq Hussein says here, this game is called football. It's in the name. You have to actually play football to win the games. Yeah, right. I mean, you know, we're not playing attacking football at all. This isn't the United of, you know, to fight even down into Ferguson's last, you know, couple of seasons. You know, the football was still more exciting than this, even with you know, some people say an aging squad that was past it and over the hill, but Ferguson won the title with it. It's bad. This is so bad. It's so boring. Anolix scores 1-0 at Bayern, mate. It's on the screen for you, top right hand corner. Omar, Josie out, you know, Dave B, no title, no top 4. Aidan Keller, no shot on goal. What is the centre back going to do? Exactly, this is the thing. It's, you know, it's, I mean, I just don't know where we can go from here. I really don't. And I hate to say it, unless Mourinho drastically changes or adapts to the United way, I can only see him going.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, though, because that's not where I didn't want it to go that way, but all of the signs, and I mean all of the signs, are pointing to a Jose third season syndrome. And you know what? Look, the only thing I will say is if it does happen and Jose goes, I'm okay with it. But this board better take the brunt of it as well. The Glazers better not be able to weasel their stupid little ponytails out of here because of it. Every single person on that board and that ownership team should come and deal with it, because it's not just Jose's fault. Jose doesn't play good football, fine, but he wasn't backed by the board, by the owners.
But this is the thing about Jose's style of football. It's not new. People have known. The thing is, the fans understand Jose from his previous clubs. I don't believe the board understood him, and I don't think he understood the board. I think he understood the club that was once a great club in terms of what Sir Alex Ferguson had achieved, but that time has shifted. As much as people would like to cling on to it, it's not there at the moment. So if Jose does leave, if he walks or if he's pushed out, there needs to be due diligence in terms of how the club is put forward in terms of advertising, not just for revenue. I'm talking about the next potential manager. Will they actually say, can you put forward a portfolio? How would you move the club forward? How would you move the team forward? What is your philosophy? What do you aim to do with the youth? And so that they actually look at a number of candidates instead of just saying, oh, we're just going to pick one person.
Yeah.
And this is the person we're going to pick, and then say to the person, by the way, this is the way we do business, and we'll give you one stellar signing. After that, you're on your own.
100%. And But then don't you take it even a step further and you say, like, don't we want to find a manager that the fan base can get their head around giving time to? You know, like, that I think is the next. Or Jose came in and we were like, within 2 years we're going to win the title. So when it didn't happen, everything was south from there no matter what. But I never, you know, like, you look at a Klopp, you look at a Pep. Pep had a terrible first season.
The thing is, fans have to understand, or I should say Manchester United fans have to understand in Jose's case, once you get rid of him and you realise that you're not winning anything, will style be enough? Will style actually be enough to keep Manchester United in the top 4, to ensure that you're going to have Champions League games, to ensure that you're considered as a big club? Is it enough? Is it enough to just play nice football but not win?
Thing is, though, I think playing nice football is a necessity when it comes to the United job, and I think they have to have a manager in place that plays exciting football first and foremost and knows how to motivate a team.
I'm thinking, I'm struggling right now to think of who that could be.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm actually struggling. I'm thinking, who out there could Manchester United actually be linked to that would make total, and no one would say you're being ridiculous or turn their nose up at it. There isn't anyone that stands out right now that isn't actually already attached to a club.
No.
Not
but
one.
Are we a big enough club to pull someone we want away from that club? Or do you go after? I've been seeing Jardim in the comments from Monaco. I've always thought Nagelsmann at Hoffenheim is really good. So you look at these type of coaches that are young. Are we going to have the fan base to put up with them?
Yeah, exactly. You know, Man United took on board David Moyes. Hadn't won anything, been at a club for 10 years. Everyone saw how that turned out. I've got no idea how well Hoffenheim are doing, how this manager is developing. He's, I think, 30 or 31.
Mm-hmm.
Monaco, I mean, France, I mean, that's another team where you've got a shed load of money.
Yeah.
And obviously you think, oh, he's doing great. Yeah, because he's got a shed load of money.
Right, and when you have that, you can... Sorry.
So I was just going to say, we've got a super chat here for you, Jared. It says, it's from Stephen Willocks, so thanks for the contribution. It says, Jared, why would the board back Jose with yet more money? He's had 2 centre-backs in Bay and Lindelof. He didn't use that he signed. He's got no clue.
Okay, I would say to that, I believe, and in the back, maybe it's being overly positive, and I'm not an overly positive person, but maybe he was building towards something, and I've always started to believe that this 3-5-2 is what he was building towards, and Bailly, Lindelof, and one more mature, sturdy center back is what we needed. I don't think he looked at anyone else as a viable option to put back there because of the mistakes that they can make. So, I do believe Bailly and Lindelof were always in Jose's plans. I think Bailly's injury record last year really hurt him with Mourinho. I don't think we've seen that he won't use Lindelof, so I just think that if Mourinho had got Alderweireld and gets him, I'm very curious to see how he plays the rest of the season. But I think the board need to give him someone because, again, Bailly wasn't terribly expensive. What was he, 35 million or something?
Yeah.
So with defenders going for 75 million pounds, he got a great deal on him, and he turned out to be an injury-prone superstar. When he's not injury-ridden, he's one of the best defenders in the Premier League. He does get hurt a lot. I think that it gets back to that point that these things happen. He does need another defender. Yeah. The board is there to give it to him.
Just to update everyone, De Gea has come off, Luke Shaw has come off, and Fred has come off. Obviously, Grant has gone in goal. Tahith Chong has come on, and I'm not sure who the third was. Possibly Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
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 And Mark actually just tweeted, so I will give exactly what probably we're all saying this whole time. Not getting Sandro will cost us big time. I could not agree with any statement more.
I think not getting a decent left back or right back will cost us. Doesn't even have to be Sandro.
Right, but Sandro I thought fit what we do. So I think he would have been perfect for us. And it's like when you have the opportunity to get who you want, anything else is second.
I mean, for me, this is the thing. Manchester United are trying to buy players from teams that are challenging in the Champions League. Very, very difficult to get players to leave where they are in the comfort of their Italian villa or Spanish villa to go and play in Manchester. It's very, very difficult. That's not to say that there aren't talented players out there, but it's almost as if Manchester United need to understand they need to look beyond the stargazing purchase and go and get someone who is a specialist in that position.
Just what is breaking chat in a minute. Bayern are coming down the left-hand side. A long shot outside the box here. It's hit the defender and Grant has catched it. So I've just had a message from Mark, and he's had a few beers. No, he is coming back, thankfully. He's had a few beers and wants me to let everyone know that he's got his after match reaction ready. So tune into that. He's had a couple of drinks. It should be explosive. It should be
That'll
fiery.
be fun.
Yeah, and don't forget, Flex is at the game as well. Yeah. So if anyone's there at in Germany at the Allianz Arena, then look out for Flex and get yourself on a fan cam.
Can I read out? I've had a tweet. I always have a conversation with Osa, and he sent it to me an hour ago. I've just seen it. 15 years ago, but football has moved on. Jose will never win a title anywhere in Europe playing negative football. Pochettino could have been had if we'd asked, and Martial a world player by the year 2020. Sacking Jose is for the long term good and no more short termism. So he's basically saying get rid of him now and get Pochettino.
You'll never get Pochettino though.
Well, you could, unless you want to, sell your soul to the devil for the next 50 years. You could spend the money, but it would
you'd have to buy him five. He just signed a 5-year deal. Exactly. So realistically, with Levy, you would have to pay his entire 5-year contract.
You'd have to probably buy a whole new Old Trafford to get Pochettino to
100%.
Yeah, we'll never let him go.
Herrera's just come off for Ghana as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, this game, I think, like we said about 20 minutes ago, the game is finished. Yeah. So we got 81 minutes, so just over 9 minutes to go. A couple of people gave up watching and just listening to us in the comments.
Well, we appreciate that. We like you.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video. Apologies again for the buffering. It's my fault. It's the updates on the system. I should have checked it before, so blame me.
That and the UK internet combined equal.
But I have no control over the internet, I'm afraid. Yeah, I should have checked all this before we went live. Let's have a look. Someone has just woke up, which is Rich Hall. Don't worry, mate, you've not missed much. You've only missed the goal.
Yeah.
Aaron O'Brien, as a club, we are effed with the Glazers as our owners. I think so as well.
The truth. That is the truth.
Yeah. I want to say Isa, X5, Chong has made the game better. He certainly had.
Yeah, he's gone forward.
Attacking dimension. Here's you, both. Thanks, mate. But I am as honest as I can be. Thanks, Wobbles. Not just me, it's Jared that's made the show, and Rodney as well. So we're a team here. We're a family. All you guys in the comments, can't do it without you lot.
It's been great, honestly. We've loved having everyone here, and it's a great interactive show.
Yeah. Andrew Ellis says we're on total decline. Kieran Brook says we're becoming a laughing stock. I think we are, actually.
I agree.
I mean, in terms of rivals and how our transfer business is doing, I think we are. James Warren, is it me or is this boring as hell? No, mate, it's not you. It's definitely not you.
Here's an interesting one, Marcus.
Hang on a second. Super chat from Karen Bansal. Thank you. Has Luke Shaw done enough to deserve first team? And another super chat from Beach Chapman. Thank you. Signing Pochettino would cost 50 million, better than Van Dijk.
Yeah,
there's worse ways to spend 50 million pounds, isn't there? I mean, there's Willian.
When you make $1 billion a year, you could spend 50 million, right?
Yeah.
And on a side note, there was an interesting comment. It said Jose has ruined United. There's one thing a lot of people have taught me, and I think it's very accurate. United will always be bigger than the manager that ruins it, and there's no manager that's ever going to ruin it. We may take a step back because of Jose in the eyes of the world, but we'll never, ever, ever be a smaller club. We'll always be one of the biggest clubs in the world. We will always have the fan base that we have. We have the most loyal fans. So you sit there and you take it a step further, and if Jose takes us 2 steps back, eventually we will find a manager that will bring us back to where Ferguson was. So have faith.
It's going to take a long time.
Yes, but if I keep saying it, maybe it'll be like Wizard of Oz where it happens.
There's no place like home, right?
There's no place like home. There's no place like
I think, one of the major pluses is these aren't really 3-point games, are they? I mean, they are, at the basis of it, they are friendlies. They are tryouts for the younger, the young players coming through. So, I mean, that is a positive that we've seen these young players. We know what they can do. So, yeah, there is that to take on board as well. But I think when you look at the style of play that United have expressed in these pre-season games, there is no change for me. There is no change at all. And after watching a certain game this afternoon that kicked off at 3 o'clock, I think it's going to be more of the same this season.
So then I follow up that with, are you ready to get rid of him?
See, I mean, you people, obviously the majority of people would say yes, but then you flip it to get who?
To get, you know what? Don't throw out the water until you know what's coming in.
Yeah.
Sure, I get it, but then you sit there and you say, do you think the board is basically spending this year saying, we'll deal with Jose, we'll get top 4 hopefully, if we don't, we don't, but we will find the manager we want to replace him next year.
It's the same conversation people were having in October when Van Gaal was there, and people were saying he's got to go, the style of football's no good. Then there was, a purple patch where things were okay, but then it still went back to style. And despite winning the trophy, he was gone.
Yeah.
So Manchester United fans are having conversations such as this. They've been having it for quite some time. Some fans are Jose in, some Jose out. Regardless of whatever position you take.
And it's 2-0.
Oh, gosh.
It's 2-0. Just a simple... Oh, is it offside? Yeah, it's offside.
Yes, it's offside.
Wow.
Good.
Very lucky. That was a ball in from the left-hand side.
It's been the same style of play from
offside.
Bayern. Wing play.
Super chat here from Imrano TV. Thank you. It's if Zidane could be convinced to tarnish his legacy and join us after Jose, he could do well. He didn't make any big signings at Real and excelled with the talent he had.
Oh, come on.
His bottom line.
That's so loaded, that point.
Right. Yeah, you want to take it, Rodney?
But I'm just thinking, if you've got a team, I think of the players that he had to manage. Benzema as a backup striker, Ronaldo, Toni Kroos, Modric, Ramos. I mean, just those alone. Isco, Bale. He didn't have a problem. He didn't have to sign anyone. He didn't have to. He just had to keep people happy. He actually sent someone out on loan. That's why Rodriguez is at Bayern Munich. It's easy for him to have managed that Real Madrid team. It's a totally different ball game going to Manchester United. Totally different.
He did and does have an unbelievable ability, though, to manage egos. I will give him that. Like, there's a ton of egos in that Madrid team, and he managed to keep everyone in line. And you look for Ronaldo loved him.
Ronaldo loved him because Ronaldo realized that he made the team play for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And everyone in that team realized that, for them to succeed, Ronaldo's got to score goals, so they made sure that Ronaldo scored goals. Yeah, I don't know if they're the same level of... I don't believe there's the same ego or the level of skills in a Manchester United player.
Right, I can understand that.
I can see. You probably look at it and think there's a challenge, but it's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah. I mean, There's a couple of people in the comments saying, like, it says it all when you're saying, yes, thankfully it's offside. You know, it says a lot about the performance tonight, doesn't it? It really does.
Yeah, yeah. We're all sitting here with fingers crossed.
Yeah, so we are coming up to the 90th minute.
Yeah.
And I think there was a comment just now, sorry, I can't remember who it was, saying that this has got to be a record for not having a shot in a whole game.
Right. I mean, I could say something about that. Again, we talked right in the first half about Rashford going out on loan and being a striker. Man United only have one recognised striker, and that's Lukaku.
Yeah.
That's it. So we've talked about David Gea being injured, but if Lukaku is injured,
this is what happens.
That's the problem that Man United have got. And then they start talking about the style of play.
It's almost as if these pre-season games are a look into the future. Like, what if we don't have this player? What if we don't have that player? And yeah, I mean, the San Jose game was not pretty. The Club Americas game was not pretty. I thought, you know, we played a lot better with Milan and Madrid, but I think that when we hit rock bottom on this pre-season was obviously the Liverpool game. It just goes to show how far behind we were in terms of preparation, players, leaders, everything, communication, the lot. I mean, this is, you could say this is what we got to look forward to for the season. And I think the next 4 days of the window is going to come across as panic buys for me.
Well, if you get an Alderweireld, at least you know we've been after him the whole season, and you knew Levy was never going to let him go until the last week anyway. So I don't know.
And that's it. It's full time.
Okay, good game.
So yeah, United finished the pre-season with a loss to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Only by the 1 goal.
Luckily.
So I mean, thoughts on the game, boys?
I mean, it didn't tell us anything we don't already know. About a Bayern team, very good, controlled, composed, and posed the threat consistently. From Manchester United's point of view, there isn't a system, there isn't a style, and there are still square pegs in round holes that need to be moved on or pushed into different positions. For me, I'm not too upset.
Yeah, Jared.
Rodney said it best. It is what I don't think we wanted it, but I think in the back of our heads we expected it, and it is what it is. You know, we are going to have to suffer through certain things, and it's not fair, but it is what it is.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say the end of the pre-season. What did we learn? Nothing much.
Herrera,
yeah, I mean,
Herrera, stand out.
Herrera, he can play in the big games. That's an extra body in the midfield. Could save a few million in the next 4 days. But yeah, I think terrible pre-season, really bad. So on that note, I shall thank you both for coming on.
No worries.
And thank everyone in the comments for joining.
Thank you to everyone in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, I mean, what can we say? I'll point you over in the direction of Mark's going live in about 5 minutes time with a very fiery rant, I suspect. And don't forget, I'll remind you again that Flex is at the arena, so if you're out that way, anywhere near it, get yourself on the fan cams. And yeah, let's look forward to the new season. So thanks everyone for joining, and see you soon.
Same time again next week.
Yeah. Okay, see you later, guys.
See ya.